Hello guys, welcome to another Law Today video, and in today's video I will be looking at another interesting topic. I am taking up language as the topic for today's discussion. So we have a lot of questions in our mind regarding the language. Do we have a national language in India? All these questions have come up in the recent past, and these questions have been debated for a long time now. So since India being a multilingual country where there are more than 22 languages spoken, at least officially spoken, we tend to ask certain basic questions, and this video will be an attempt to answer those. The first question being, do we have a national language? And then we have to think about whether Hindi is our national language, and where has all this been mentioned or stated. Does our constitution talk about it? Do we have acts regarding this? And what exactly is the difference between a national language and an official language? Are they one and the same, or are they different? And what are the status of the other languages in India? As I mentioned, we have many different languages spoken around the country, so what status do these languages also have? And why is Hindi being promoted in India? That's one question that a lot of non-Hindi speaking audience will like to know. So firstly, let's look at the difference between a national language and an official language. So what is a national language? It is a language that has some connection, de facto or de jure, with a nation. So we have certain examples where in Italy, Italian is the national language as well as the official language. It is the de facto and de jure language of the country. In Spain, again, Spanish is the national language, and in Pakistan, by law, they have made Urdu as their national language. Under Article 251 of the Constitution, it has been clearly mentioned that of the Pakistan's Constitution, it has been clearly mentioned that Urdu will be the national language of Pakistan. So, what is the official language of a country? The official language can also be called as the state language, is a language given a special status in a particular country, state, or other jurisdiction. It is the official language. It is basically the language that is being used by the judiciary, legislature, and for administrative purposes. So to run a government, you need some common language, and official language is the solution to that. So yeah, moving on. What did the Constituent Assembly of India have to deal with when they were talking about the languages that are predominantly spoken in India? So we were in a state of confusion because there was a big debate on whether Hindustani, which is half Sanskritized Hindi and partially Persianized Urdu, whether should Hindustani can be our national language, or should Hindi be our national language, or and Sanskrit. So there were numerous options that we had, and we had to pick one as our national language. So this created a huge debate, and of course we had answers and different opinions from different states. So finally they formulated the Munshi Iyengar formula, where it was named after K.M. Munshi and Gopalasamy Iyengar in their name. So they came up with the concept of official language, which solved the problem, but it was a temporary solution. So they agreed that Hindi will be the official language, and also English will be used for a period of 15 years. So this is what is stated in our constitution. So in the next heading that we'll be dealing is the position in India. So we know India is a land of many languages, and our constitution deals with our languages in part 17, where it has split part 17 into 4 chapters. I will be dealing with chapter 1, 2 and 3, where in chapter 1 it talks about the official language of the union. Chapter 2 deals with the official language of the regions, and chapter 3 it talks about the language that has to be spoken in the Supreme Court and High Court and other courts. And we also have an act which deals with the languages in India, which is the Official Languages Act 1963. Another important point to note here is the scheduled languages, which are part of Schedule 8. I will give I will list out the scheduled languages in the later part of the presentation. And yes, moving on. So what does chapter 1 say? So chapter 1 deals with the languages of the union. According to article 343, which states that Hindi will be the official language and English will be continued to be used even after 15 years. So uh, the parliament had the option to continue English language as the official language even after 15 years of the constitution. So to basically summarize, it's going to be Hindi and English in the union. Later on in chapter 2, which deals with the regional languages, there were different options. So they can adopt any language which is close to their region. They can adopt Hindi, and English can also be continued. So they had three options which can be adopted by them. And also 346, article 346 deals with the official language for communication between one state and the other, and between state and the center. Since we have two governments, one in the union level and the state level, so communication between them also had to be understood. So therefore the communication between the union and the state, or between two states, is going to be the same as the line of the same official language as the what has been mentioned in chapter 1. So that is Hindi and English. Yeah. So the next is article 347, which is a very interesting article, where in case a state has a substantial portion of its population speaking a particular language, the president has the power to direct the state to make that language also as the official language of the state. So this is giving power to the president to adopt any other language which is being spoken predominantly in the state. Next we have chapter 3, which deals with the language of the Supreme Court and High Court. So in simple terms, article 348 says we have to use English, and there was an important case with this regard, where in Madhulime versus Vedmurthy this was discussed, where this was a case in the Supreme Court. This was a intervention by a person. He wanted to argue in Hindi. The opposing counsel was not able to follow, so the Supreme Court gave the intervener three options. Either you can argue in English, or you allow your counsel to present his case, or you make written arguments in English. So he did not accept it, and the court cancelled his intervention. So this shows that English is the official language in the courts. So what are the scheduled languages, or the Schedule 8 of the Constitution? So there are about 22 languages in the 8th schedule, which ranges from Assamese to Urdu to Telugu, Tamil. There are so many languages in India, and Schedule 8 has the entire list of official languages. Moving, why is Hindi being promoted in India is a big question that we all need to understand. There are two reasons, one under article 344 and the other under article 351. Article 344 talks about the need for setting up a commission which will undertake responsibility to recommend to the union and the president about the use of Hindi language. They wanted to promote Hindi language for official purposes, and also restrict the use of English language. So the main reason for promoting Hindi here was to make it more relevant as an official language and not as a national language. And also article 351 gives the power to the union to direct for the development of Hindi language. So they wanted to spread the language, and the purpose is to serve as a medium of expression for the elements of the composite culture of India. So if a single reading of article 351, you'll come to an understanding that they are promoting Hindi language to promote India's composite culture. It might not make sense to many, and this is a question that we will be getting answers in the future, so we'll have to wait and watch. But yes, there are certain other provisions also which have certain tendencies to promote Hindi as our national language, but the truth is Hindi is just an official language, and we must accept that it's just used as a means of communication for official purposes and nothing beyond that. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative and useful. Please leave your questions in the comment section below. In case you have queries or video requests, you can also email me to lawtoday11@gmail.com. And that's it. Until next time, happy learning. Take care. Bye bye.